Welcome into the CHGO Bears Podcast, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app, use promo code CHGO when you sign up. What's going on, Bears fans? Adam Hoge, Mark Carman, Nicholas Moreano with you today as we keep our NFL draft coverage rolling, talking about some cornerbacks today. I'm really excited about it. What's going on?
I just want to tell everybody that if you haven't checked out our comprehensive CHGO Bears draft board, which is getting more comprehensive by the day, I really thought I did a great job on these cornerbacks, putting in notes that were, copious and interesting to me and just gave me a little solid base. And then Adam Hoge gets in there last night. At what time did you start? 10?
8:30. No, I was in there by 8:30.
Right after just loving after dark, you jumped right in there.
More like getting my kids to bed, but yeah.
Sure.
Yes, after watching After Dark.
And I as I get in there this morning just to review before we do the show, this dude has done you're like Mel Kiper, Ryan Poles, Dane Brugler, and Mike Greenberg combined. Shout out Greeny.
Greenberg.
That was a random addition.
You can tell he just forgot. He didn't know that.
Because I wanted to give the media chops for the Hoagie. It's a big time of performance last night, late night Hoge.
Well, first of all, I will not take that much credit because I'm more like the college student just cramming for finals at this point right now.
That's what it felt like, yeah.
Using all the, But yeah, no, We've been grinding, and if you haven't checked it out, please do, because it is really starting to come together as we promised. This was all a work in progress, and we've been giving you access to it all along so you can kind of see it come together on the back end, and we are definitely getting there. I will say, though, we only have 98 players in our top 100. So we got some work to do. There's a big meeting going on after the show today, by the way. We're getting in the draft room.
And I think we actually have to do our top 103 because the Bears have the 103rd pick on the board. I think we got to go to 103.
No.
No.
If you get number 80 at 103,
no, but I think
you're cooking.
Yeah. I still think we should do 103.
Okay.
There's 103 people. If the draft does exactly right the way we tell them to,
which it won't.
No. Well, that's
we'll be wrong by pick 2.
Probably.
Vanilla Chill with me. 103. Me and Vanilla Chill. I love Vanilla Chill. My new favorite person in the chat. Thank you, Vanilla. Anybody who supports me.
I mean, by the way, polls can trade out, so.
Yeah.
Yep, that's definitely.
I'm aware of all the scenarios that could happen. Just come with me. 103. It's unique. It's interesting. 1 + 3 = 4. 4 equals 4 bases, equals a homer, equals CHGO winning the Media Softball League this year with me running it. Let's go.
What is that?
This is my present to Nick because he won our bet about Jalen Carter. And
he hasn't actually won it yet.
No, but I paid out early because I
paid out early. That's right. I was on that show.
I went for the early payout, so he is now the proud holder of
whatever this is.
We have to name him. We need a name, team. We need a name.
Where did that come from, and why was it?
Why did you have this? Where is this?
This was a gift to me by someone back in the day. Weirdly, there's no romance involved in this, and it's with all due respect to this dude, spent a little too much time in the trunk of my car, but then got elevated out of the trunk onto a nice ledge, and then I offered it to Nick, and he bit.
By the way, if we're talking about content,
it's soft, it's furry.
If we're talking about content opportunities, there is a game show to be played called "What's in Carm's Trunk."
Yeah, seriously.
Because I've seen it a few times, and just to clarify, I am talking about your vehicle.
It ain't great.
And
it ain't great.
Who's in Carter?
Who's in Carter?
Like that. For those listening to the podcast and can't see, the item in question here is some type of weird chipmunky mouse situation,
Gerbil, yeah.
which is basically just a head with ears and feet and nothing else.
I think it's great.
Let's jump into the show, shall we?
Busy show. Let's go.
So we are doing our top cornerbacks today. And, typically we've been doing 5, but honestly, this cornerback class, we have 14 in our top 81 right now, at least as it stands today. Things are still fluid. But this is a deep cornerback class. I don't know if it's a top position in need for the Bears, but certainly adding another cornerback to the mix is somewhere on the need list. And I could definitely see it happening with one of those top 4 picks that the Bears have. So
I'm just very excited about the conversation today because I do have scripted. That's right, I'll admit to it. They are scripted intros for each of our top 5. I just have taken some extra time to really underline the brilliance that is in this draft. And I know that I don't think the Bears are taking a corner early, but I do think they are taking a corner at some point. So maybe as we get down into picks 4 or 5 and even 6, who our board we're jumbled at 5 and 6. So perhaps one of these guys will end up in a Chicago Bears uniform. I've got one guy that I'd really like to see be a Bear. But we'll talk about that as we get along here.
why don't you kick us off here with our top guy?
All right. You ready? Okay.
Not really.
All right. Well, we started off here with, yes, you see him, the near consensus first cornerback on most draft boards, even though Adam Hoge, to my right, ain't so sure. Christian Gonzalez started his college career at Colorado before tagging along with his defensive back coach, the nomadic Demetrius Martin, whom Gonzalez calls Coach Meat. He followed Coach Meat to Oregon for 1 season. This is a true story, Hoge. The man looks good in green and yellow and, of course, in the buff. And he's a super speedy, athletic corner. 23.3 miles per hour on the GPS. Can you believe it? That's faster than Nick Moreano ties up his Jordans. The vertical,
They're not tied.
42 inches. That's similar to Hoge's. Look at him. This man leaps out of the chair like you wouldn't believe. He's one of the largest corners in this draft. He stands nearly 6'2", 200 muscular pounds. That strength helped him make 58 of 61 potential tackles last season. You want him. You love him. Many teams could use him. The son of 6'9" Hector Gonzalez, who hooped at UTEP. That's right. Number 1 on our CHGO board, Christian Gonzalez.
That was quite an intro.
Wow, that was
quite.
I went a little too heavy on the first one, but
He's number 1. You gotta.
yeah.
He's number 1.
I will say my vertical off the couch did reach 42 inches when Jonathan Taves had that breakaway in overtime the other night.
Yeah.
And then it really hurt.
Good time.
Kevin Kadek's love for Taves makes me like just googly inside. It really does. I love when people have sports loves that they don't want to let die. That was a great moment.
Oh, what a perfect ending it would have been, and then it wasn't. All right, so here we look, I'll be honest, with these top 2 corners we're going to talk about, they're really 1A, 1B. I could probably be talked into flipping them. I like them both a lot. I think then there's a little bit of a drop-off, and then, as Carm, you mentioned, maybe more of an argument between us for cornerback 4, cornerback 5, cornerback 6. But at the top, I mean, these guys are really close. So in the end, I'm kind of leaning Christian Gonzalez over Devon Witherspoon. But what I like to see is that the ball skills definitely took off last year. Like, they were really lacking at Colorado, and then he goes to Oregon, and all of a sudden now he's got 4 interceptions, 11 PBUs last year, and when he gets his hands on the ball with an interception, he is very dangerous at returning. Getting yardage after the interception, which you like to see. Played on special teams, which is always good. Great reputation when it comes to work ethic. Like a lot of these guys towards the top, though, they tend to be more man corners than zone guys. Another thing here you like, not a lot of penalties on his resume, which is always a good thing.
Yep. Adam, when I was watching his tape against BYU, you saw all the traits that you want to see out of a number 1 corner, especially as we have him at number 1 on our draft board here, but a guy that can recognize plays in the backfield, so he'll get in on run support. There are times where he's playing 5 yards off looking inside at the quarterback, the wide receiver's running a slant route. He beats the wide receiver to the spot. He can diagnose things really well, can high point the football. And even when he's beat, there was a play, again, in that BYU game where the wide receiver runs a corner route. He's not panicking, not looking to grab the wide receiver in the end zone, plays through the wide receiver's hands, is just smart about how he does things. And that's why, for me, like, I know we'll talk about the other guy in a little bit, but he still is my number one guy because he's not as grabby as, like, maybe a Devon Witherspoon. And we'll talk about him in a little bit. But Christian Gonzalez is a guy that whatever team he goes to, I just know he's going to be a good player. Again, he has the length, speed, play recognition, will be physical in the run game, and can obviously shadow the number one wide receiver.
So some of the positives, too, that scouts are saying: durable, coachable. The 4 picks are third best in the Pac-12. But to where you started out here, he wasn't anywhere close to this player at Colorado. So he's really only had 1 year where he's vaulted himself, and it's just kind of amazing to me that he is this much of just everyone's so convinced that he's going to be the guy. His resume does not scream it. I mean, it's just one phenomenal year, which makes I'd be a little nervous if I was, some people have him going as high as 5.
But I think it's defensible. I mean, first of all, one thing you like is he's never missed a game. Mm-hmm. He his 3 years were the COVID year.
Yeah.
Okay. And then second year at Colorado, he was an honorable Pac-12 mention, so it's not like he was bad. The production level wasn't quite there, but then he makes the transition to Oregon, and those ball skills really take off. I'm shocked, though, Karn, that you did not, in your long intro,
what did I
talk
miss?
About his family.
The family, well, I did at the end. His dad, the basketball player, the sisters all are dominating, and one of them is married to David Blau.
Yes.
Yeah.
So David Blau, former Purdue quarterback, is from, I believe, the same high school. I think that's the connection. From Texas. So he is married to Christian Gonzalez's sister, and I knew this because there was a feature last year I saw on David Blau's wife, Melissa, because she was in the 2021 Olympics.
Yep.
Hurdler. So I knew that story with David Blau. I had no idea that she was Christian Gonzalez's sister, though. So
I mean, it's big time. Yep. After competing in the 2021 Olympics, 400-meter hurdles. So, I mean, we got athletes every single place in the Gonzalez family.
Yeah.
We're marrying into them. The dad 6'9", hooped it up. So he's
athletic.
Actually, this guy, he didn't pass down the genes. Christian's only 6'2".
Well,
that's true. Yeah.
When it comes to picking between Gonzalez and Witherspoon, ultimately they're so close that I sided with the size right at the end because it certainly doesn't hurt. And that was basically the only reason as far as a tiebreaker goes. But why don't you tell us about number 2?
Okay. Well, number 2 is, of course, from the University of Illinois, ILL, but he's also not afraid to show Nick, Iowa Hawkeye, Caitlin Clark, some respect on Twitter. He did that during the tournament. We love you for that, Witherspoon. This star cornerback did not allow a touchdown all season long, only 16 completions and 54 targets. Fast riser up your draft board. He stopped playing football in 7th grade, did not start playing football again until junior year when his mom begged him to, and then he realized his dream, by the way, with hoops was not going to happen because he fell back in love with football. Ended his career at Illinois as the Dick Butkus Defensive MVP, INI. Can you say Go Bears? And can you say Lovie Smith? That's right. Thank you, Lovie. Lovie called him the toughest guy on our team, pound for pound. He bowled over a catcher, Adam Hoge, when he was 9 years old in Little League. That's a true story, at least according to The Athletic. Number 2 on the CHGO draft board, but perhaps number 1 in your Big Ten heart, known as Spoon to his teammates, Devon Witherspoon. What's up, Spoon?
What's up, Spoon? As we bring in Lovie Smith to the show, too.
It's a pretty good compliment by Lovie. Pound for pound toughest dude on the team.
Yeah.
You watch him, some of his
he's
hits.
delivering
He is
some
physical,
hits.
man.
Yeah.
But it is wild. I don't know how many prospects in this year's draft went from not really playing football till junior year. Now, there are certainly stories like that. But virtually not recruited to then he goes to junior college because his grades, didn't have the SAT scores. But then there's like some type of updated SAT score that comes in, and all of a sudden he's eligible. So he never really played JUCO. All of a sudden now he's eligible to go to a Power 5 school, and Illinois shows interest. So he goes from not recruited to JUCO to Illinois in the Big Ten in just a matter of months, and he plays right away.
And he's tiny at the start. He's walking in that locker room. They're like, hey, is this the ball boy? I mean, what's going on here? How's this dude going to do anything? But tough as hell, and apparently just nonstop. All he did was eat. Apparently he was watching film. The dude loved chicken wings. So the coaches would bring like 50 to 75 wings for him just to eat, just trying to put on weight.
Yep. That was from Dan Pompei's story.
Yeah, there we go.
So, yeah, he's – okay. Now, the things you love where I could probably be talked into reversing these two corners, but certainly like just the innate instinct and vision to read quarterback's eyes and understand what's happening in front of you to make plays on the ball. That's why I think he's such a really good fit for the Bears. He gets same reputation as Christian Gonzalez in terms of, he's better playing man, his zone still. But I look at the way he just can read when he's facing the quarterback, when he's facing the backfield, make plays on the ball. That's very impressive to me. When he plays downhill, both of these guys are willing, aggressive tacklers. I think the issue with Witherspoon, you brought it up there. It's a fun story, him eating those chicken wings with his DB's coach
and everything else. The dude is just throwing out food, but he's got the huge metabolism. He can't keep on weight.
But that's the question: can he carry the weight needed at the NFL level? And so when it's that close to me, that's where when I put in our rankings, I went with Gonzalez just like a hair above Witherspoon because I just think the size aspect of it is just a little bit safer.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. And for watching Witherspoon, like he had a really good matchup in the Purdue game against Charlie Jones, and those two guys went at it all game. And there's actually a play where Witherspoon gets an interception guarding Jones one-on-one, but I guess they call the pass interference call, and that's one of the knocks on Devon Witherspoon right now, that he can be a little bit grabby, can be a little bit too aggressive at times, but when it comes to in-breaking routes, his ability to just break on a route, recognize it, and make plays on the football, arguably one of the best players in this class at doing that. And he also plays with a little bit of an edge, you guys. There were a couple of tackles in that game where he's kind of standing over the wide receiver. They actually matched him up one-on-one on a third down play against Payne Durham, their tight end at Purdue. And Devon Witherspoon's right there to close out on the tackle and make sure he doesn't get the first down. So he's a guy that will follow your number one wide receiver. He did that all last season in Illinois, really aggressive, will make plays. And, he's right there, right behind Christian Gonzalez for me, but somebody that if the Bears were to draft him at 9, he makes that secondary really scary, you guys. And I would love – he's one of my favorite prospects in this draft, and I think he would be a really enticing player for the Bears, opposite of Jalen Johnson with Kyler Gordon, Jaquan Brisker. There's a scenario where I could see if that happens, I'd be happy with it. But we'll see what ends up happening on draft day.
Is there a scenario where you would be happy with that? Because I would have a heart attack.
If they took him at 9?
Yeah.
I'd have to.
That's not a shot at Devon Witherspoon at all. It's just not.
I'd have to see how the board falls in the first 8 picks, and then probably be told with certainty that no other team was calling the trade up.
Yeah.
In that spot, and you were just sort of had to make the pick. I could see it. While our top 100 is not completely finalized, he is. Hang on here.
I got it.
I mean, he's.
You have him 5th on the board.
Well, we haven't finalized all. That's what our meeting is later today.
We're gonna
this, but I'm telling you, he's probably gonna end up in the top 10 easily.
Yeah,
top 9. Let's put it that way for the Bears pick.
There's a lot of mocks where he's not even making it tonight.
I'm not.
Yeah, I don't think he is. I'm not sure either of these guys. I think Christian Gonzalez and Witherspoon might be off the board by 9.
Detroit, Atlanta.
Yep. So what's your issue with the Bears taking him at 9? Position?
Yes. Because look. If you're going to take best player available,
but
regardless of position,
is a premium position. You have a guy you don't have under contract after this year, and another guy, Kyler Gordon, who I think everybody likes, but he still's got to prove himself.
Okay. I wonder if they like him better as a nickel guy too, because that's the third most important player in Eberflus's defense. You have the
but I think they've decided that's Kyler Gordon.
All right, Team Carm, hit the like button if you're on Team Carm. If they're taking either best player available, i.e. position of luxury where they actually are well suited compared to elsewhere, then to me, if you're doing that, then I am going to scream that I'd rather see, and I'm getting a little nervous about him, but I'd rather see either the wide receiver and or the running back over a corner at that spot. I'd way rather, if you're really just going to go best player available, then I'd rather see Bijan than a corner at 9, which I don't want them to do any of that. Like, trade back and let's get another pick in here, hopefully a first next year, and then you want to take a swing at you want to add to the corner spot, and you want to, if you like Joey Porter Jr., who we're going to get to a little bit, or even Emanuel Forbes, which would excite me in the second round, because that guy makes plays on the ball. I'm there for it. But doing it at 9, that just seems a little. It'd be bold as hell.
It's a deep class too, so you could probably take someone later.
It would be less bold than taking Bijan Robinson.
Yes, that's true. That's true. But if we're going to be bold,
yeah.
I wouldn't feel great about that.
All right. I'm only going to address this because everybody keeps sending messages and comments. Yes. Apparently, Allen Robinson's getting traded to Pittsburgh. Cool. We'll talk about it later. Oh. Allen Robinson.
Hey, A-Rob is connected, man. Yeah. People love A-Rob.
Okay. Him and Mitch back together again.
Yeah.
A-Rob was phenomenal when he was here. I don't know.
I loved A-Rob.
I don't know what happened. He apparently just doesn't want to play football anymore. But when he was here, that dude did not get enough love for his incredible ability to catch ridiculously terrible passes all the time. He was phenomenal. I was a huge fan.
And now he can go do it in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. You want to go on to number 3? Yeah. Or should we?
Real quick, we'll tell you about our friends at DraftKings, as always. By the way, DraftKings will be fun with the draft, too. There's odds and stuff in there, and an overwhelming favorite to be the number 1 overall pick. Now, you guys been following that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I sure have.
Bryce Young all the way.
Yep, and CJ not at number 2. I put that in the old Notion. I thought that was very interesting in today's NFL news.
Notion. It's NBA playoff time, though, as Carm will tell you.
That's coming up, too.
That means big hoops action with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. You can get in on the excitement of every game with the touch of a button. New customers can make a $5 pregame moneyline bet and score $150 in bonus bets if their team wins. Plus, everyone can score a no-sweat same-game parlay every day during the NBA playoffs, which is pretty sweet. Open the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Opt in, place a same-game parlay on any NBA game, and if it doesn't hit, you'll get a bonus bet back up to $10. Download the app now. Sign up with code CHGO. New customers can make a $5 pregame moneyline bet and score $150 in bonus bets if their team wins. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code CHGO.
Good job, Adam.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In Massachusetts, call 1-800-327-5050 or visit gamblinghelplinema.org. In New York, call 877-8-HOPENY or text HOPENY. That's 467-369. In Kansas, call 1-800-522-4700 on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources.
We're going to give Adam a little break there now, and I'm going to tell you about a play of the week. I've been hot, you guys, surprisingly, on DraftKings.
How hot?
I won once in the last day.
One for one. That's a winning streak.
We're going to continue it tonight, you guys.
1-0 his last one. That's a Cody Del Mendes thing.
Yes. We're taking the Cubs money line today. We're going to build a nice little parlay. Cubs money line, 5+ strikeouts for Stroman, 2+ total bases for Nico Horner, and under 0.5 runs first inning. Use that same game parlay boost. You can get plus 750. I already put $10 on it. Gonna cash out with 800 or 85 total, which would be great. So definitely do that and get on the hot streak that I'm about to go on here for Cubs baseball, which I'm liking a lot more than Sox baseball right now. But what you should do after you do that DraftKings parlay, you have to check out Shady Rays. You can take on the sun with gear built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered For the warm weather, head with premium polarized shades at an affordable price. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers a world-class product that's just as good as any expensive pair we've worn here at CHGO. Durable framed and extremely clear optics for outdoor adventures. I have my Shady Rays in my car, so wherever I go, I know I have durable sunglasses that are going to look good, and they're going to be obviously a great product as well. And what's awesome is if you lose or break your pair, even on day one, they told us they'll send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. Wear your Shady Rays with confidence because they have your back long after your purchase. And exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is going to give you the best deal this season. Go to shadyrays.com and use code CHGO for 50% off 2 or more polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The shades are rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people.
And if you haven't already bought your tickets for the CHGO Bears draft party, you better go do it. This is coming up. It's next week. Thursday and Friday, our 2-night draft party at Joe's on Weed Street. Again, Thursday, April 27th, and Friday, April 28th. We're going to be doing our live draft shows from there in front of a live audience. Come be a part of it. Come support us. We appreciate it. And it'll be a great atmosphere to celebrate whatever the Bears do. Plus, it includes a premium drink package. We have VIP booths, VIP seating, and Goose Island. Plenty of Goose Island to go around, along with premium cocktails included in that package. So go to allchgo.com. You'll find the link on the main page, but also under events, and we cannot wait. I'm getting excited for this party. I'm getting excited to see everybody next week. So make sure you come join us. We also have a Die Hard happy hour tomorrow night.
It's happening.
So your last opportunity, other than the show, but if you want to jump in for all our diehards, you get access. It's a very casual, just sort of discussion. Grab a beverage, hang out, and you can ask us all kinds of draft questions leading up to the
Draft questions, any questions. It's hang out, very casual, like Adam said. It'll be a good time. Last one we did a mock draft, and you guys had a really good time with that, but really just a laid-back time, just hang out.
Listen, everybody knows that happy hours are amazing, and they're even better with CHGO. You don't even have to leave anywhere. You sit at home, and we all become best friends, and then we leave, and we get emotional. But we just plan for the next happy hour. I'm fired up.
All right, tell us about Joey Porter Jr.
Coming in at number 3 on our CHGO draft board. The man has the bloodlines, not quite like yours truly at the Carman. Of course, came from Freddie Carman, star at Marshall in Western Illinois before he won World War II on cleanup duty, bringing the whiskey to officers in Japan. But he did come from thank you, Nick. But Pro Bowl linebacker Joey Porter, who played 13 years in the NFL. We are talking about Junior, who has volunteered to feed the homeless when he's not batting down passes for the Nittany Lions. 6 of them against Purdue, by the way. That was a school record. Take that, Brags, Purdue basketball fan. And speaking of hoops, by the way, this could play at 6'2.5", the longest cornerback of the bunch, and the former teammate, of course, of Nittany Lion, now Chicago Bear, Jaquan Brisker. He did not allow a touchdown all season long, only 9 completions. That was as a junior before he did sit out the Rose Bowl to focus on the NFL draft board. Number 3 on our board, Joey Porter Jr.
He was focused on our draft board?
Did I say it like that?
He was. He wanted to skip the Rose
Sitting
Bowl.
out the Rose Bowl to focus on the NFL draft. Number 3 on our board.
I gotcha.
Did I not have the proper pause?
You said he was focused on the draft board.
Writing Greg Braggs' name in my notes to do intros was
It hurt a little bit.
confronting moment in my day.
It was painful.
But I loved it all the same.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate the intros. Yeah, Joey Porter Jr., amazing bloodlines, obviously. His father being Joey Porter. You got the size, you got the length. I mean, you're feeling pretty good about what you got here. And quite frankly, he was fun to watch at Penn State because he had that length. He was aggressive. And that was when they would actually throw the ball at him, because one of the things I actually like about him is you watch how teams game plan against Penn State last year, and they're just like, we're not going to throw that way. Mm-hmm. So that's obviously going to hurt your production a little bit when it's like that. And 1 career interception in 4 years is a little concerning. I forget who that corner was out of Clemson a few years ago that had 0 INTs. And I just could not get over that.
The Raiders? Is that
maybe?
Yeah.
I think the Vikings. Was it Alexander?
Oh, yeah, maybe. It's ringing a bell.
I think
if I can find it.
Anyway,
Mackenzie Alexander?
yeah, I think that's who it was. I don't think he had an interception in college. Maybe that's what it was.
Wiggins?
But it really doesn't matter.
Guy Joey says Mackenzie Alexander is the name you're looking for.
I think
not
that's
Nate Wiggins.
Now, I actually watched Joey Porter Jr. and everyone I think looks at him like long and lanky and sticky man cornerback. I'm not going to debate that. I actually kind of watch him though, and just the way he moves around. I think he can be a fit in the Bears zone-based defense, and it maybe even could accentuate his skill set even more and get his hands on the ball even more. So I like him, and he did have 6 pass breakups against Purdue, which I believe was a conference record.
He's got an 81-inch wingspan.
Yeah.
Jeez.
81, which is very hard. That's a scout drooler right there. He's also, there is something to be said for people that literally have been around the game their entire life.
That's
like
true.
the Currys, they grew up around it, and all of it just, there's something that the lights don't seem as bright to a lot of people that were in that position. This guy was a ball boy for the Steelers. He was hanging out with Mike Tomlin's kids. None of that really matters, but when you combine it with all of his physical traits,
it does matter a little bit.
yeah, I mean, it's worth noting. That's why I'm bringing it up. Again, the dad, 13 years, Steelers, Dolphins, Cardinals. This guy is not going to – he's going to feel like he belongs immediately, and he's got the physical traits that are making everybody drool. I mean, I think he's going to clearly be, a first-round draft pick, no doubt about it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he'll definitely be a first-rounder, you guys. For me, I watched him against Purdue, and that you guys mentioned the 6 pass breakups. And there was a lot of good things in that game. There were some bad things that I saw from Joey Porter Jr. there. The good, like when you talk about the length, when he's engaged with a wide receiver who's trying to block him, that arm length comes to play where he's able to just get on the wide receiver, disengage, and make a tackle. There are plays where he's recognizing he's in phase with a wide receiver downfield, recognizes the wide receiver underneath coming on a drag route, is almost getting the interception. Doesn't complete the play, but you can see the instincts that he has. There were times where Purdue lined up Charlie Jones outside one-on-one. You're running the slant route. Joey Porter's hands weren't there. He's getting the inside release on him. It was on posts. It was on slant routes. And then the other Purdue wide receivers were doing that. It was later in the game where Joey Porter started to use that length to his advantage and was able to almost get another interception. And again, that's just one game, but I thought there was just a lot of times where he gave up the inside on those slant routes. And a guy like Charlie Jones went up against Devon Witherspoon earlier in the year. That was a very competitive matchup. This one, Jones wins it easily against a guy like that. So it's not to say that he can be a really good player, which I think he will be, but I want to see him just get a little bit more consistent with his hands, use that to his advantage, not give wide receivers the in-breaking routes every single time. But you see the instincts, you see the length, you see hopefully the ball production that can come at the next level. Just those in-breaking routes, it definitely gave him trouble in that Purdue game.
You're going to be seeing that take later on Twitter. That was outstanding, Nick. That was an extreme breakdown right there between the two. I loved that.
Well, if you go into our draft profile in our draft database and you look up Joey Porter Jr., I mean, Nick did like the play-by-play.
That's what I do with the little pen, with the little Samsung tab. I'm just writing down every single thing that I do.
It's like you got to go in there and check this out. I mean, there's almost every play 6 yards off Jones. Jones runs the curl, throwing window there, but ball thrown to the other side.
It's a good job. Gets off block versus Jones, using his long arms to his advantage. Throw to the flat. Porter gets the ball carrier, but tough time bringing him down.
Now, when you write that down with your stylus, does it just translate to type?
I can
or do you
do
still
that.
have to type it out?
So I type it out just because I don't want it to mess up. But there is a feature that I found yesterday that will translate all of that to text.
Yeah.
But I was trying to see it in, some of the words. Like I have really crappy handwriting that I can read, but sometimes it doesn't translate very well. But maybe I'll try that for some of the other guys that I do. But yeah, it's every play breakdown. I'll find games and then just kind of write it all down there. But
yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see what we're talking about here. You see the list of our players.
Why did you go so nuts on Joey Porter Jr.?
No, that's for all 5.
No, really?
Christian Gonzalez I have up there. Joey Porter,
You did
Devon
all of
Witherspoon. I still have to put
I don't see it on Gonzalez.
Yeah, it's down
It's-
there.
it's
So
in
if
there.
you- all the way down.
Oh, you did? Okay. Okay. I missed it. Good
Called
job.
Scrolling.
My bad. I
I got to put Forbes and
I stand
some other
corrected.
guys in there, but
Well, this is where we get a little bit into a debate because I don't think Nick agrees with us from this point on.
All right. Well,
By us, I mean me.
that's the whole point of this exercise, ladies and gentlemen, as we move to number 4 on our board. From the great town of Grenada, Mississippi, where, according to Grenada Tourism, people come from all over the world for their crappie fishing on Grenada Lake.
Wow.
They love the crappies. You can get
Oh,
a
the
great
crappie.
You can get a great crappie.
A good crappie.
Isn't it crappie?
Crappie.
I'm
It's
pretty sure
crappie?
it's crappie, but
Okay, crappie.
This is not a fishing show.
Yes, clear that. You needed a lot of crappie, by the way, in the household too, because this corner has 10 siblings, and apparently he did not get enough crappie because he's carrying only 166 pounds on that slender frame. This is when I was laughing at the desk earlier.
You were laughing at yourself while
Yes,
you were
I was
writing.
having a great time. But of course that didn't stop him from making plays, that lack of crappie. He does own the FBS record for 6 pick sixes, ladies and gentlemen. Not just picks, but 6 pick sixes, which makes him the active leader in defensive touchdowns and the active leader in career interceptions. 14 picks in 3 seasons. Can you say Bears? Can you hear Flus's ears popping up right now? Who the hell is this guy? Perhaps Ryan Poles could use the number 4 corner on our board. That would be Emanuel Forbes, Mississippi State, 6 foot, and again, 166 slender pounds. But plays on the ball, baby. Let's go.
great job, Mark.
If this guy was 20 pounds heavier, maybe 15 pounds heavier, he's a top 10 pick easily.
Needed more crappie.
I still think he goes earlier than most people think. I think he's. I would not be surprised to see him go in the first round. Because you just cannot deny the playmaking ability. You turn on the tape, you just look at the stat sheet, whatever. I mean, to put up 35 pass breakups, 14 interceptions, and then take 14 of those interceptions and return them for 6 touchdowns. The other thing, if you dive even into his pick sixes, 4 of them were 59 yards or more. Like,
Did not know that. That's awesome.
Former
one was
wide receiver in
59,
high school.
one was 60, one was 90, and one was in the 80s, I believe. So this guy is picking off making enormous game-changing plays on you. And he's got all this coming in, a lot of experience, 36 college games. You can slam his weight, but he was durable. He granted it's next level at the NFL. You're gonna take on a greater beating, but it's not like it cost him in college. He only missed 1 game. And, I mean, honestly, you look at him, the only blemish on him is the weight, which is a concern. But, I don't see any reason why he can't hit the instincts and the playmaking ability and the ball skills won't translate to the next level.
He's the most interesting guy to me as far as, like, if this dude fell, and I don't think he's going to go all the way down there, or would the Bears be interested if he was falling and combining 2 of their picks late second and the first one in the 3rd round and move up to get him? I doubt they would do that, but it would be super interesting if they did.
Yeah, guys, like for me, I honestly, when I turned on the tape, like I thought we had made a mistake on our board. I'm like, there's no way this thin guy is going to be a playmaker, and obviously you see the stats, but then you see how he's able to turn and run with wide receivers, and he's physical. Like he is not afraid to go in there inside of traffic and make tackles, and that was really surprising to me watching Emanuel Forbes. His best graded game, according to PFF, was against Arkansas, so I watched that whole entire thing, and he's turning and running with wide receivers. He's coming off those guys and getting into the backfield and making tackles. There was one where he's beat on a double move, but because of his length and speed, he's able to make up for it and get an interception in the end zone. Like, this dude can play. And the thing is, it's just the weight. And if he can put on some more weight and be in I think a system where he's ideally, I don't know if like he's going to be a jam up in your face kind of corner because of how thin he is right now, but off coverage, he has those instincts to break on passes, to make plays on the ball, like you see the production that he did at Mississippi State. But I was really impressed just watching him, and initially seeing him like, there's no way in hell this guy's going to be, a good player. And then he surprised me in that entire game. So Emanuel Forbes is a guy that, I think will make a lot of teams happy if they draft him.
He's super. I love that breakdown again too, and I find the guy this is an interesting character. I mean, he would be.
He doesn't look. I mean, he just doesn't look like a football player, but he can play the position, man.
I just like an unorthodox look every now and again, and the ball skills are real. So it makes you wonder about if he falls and the Bears and what they want, takeaway dude, would they perhaps be interested?
I mean, he's like the cornerback version of Bryce Young in this draft. But we're not talking about taking him first overall. We're talking about
later
in the first round or early second round, which, to me that alleviates the concerns about the size when you have everything else. Same thing with Bryce Young. I mean, which maybe at some point we'll get into the quarterbacks more before we get closer to the draft. But, it's just about the risk and reward about where you're taking them. For me, love this guy. He's got my gold football on the draft board. And
what's the gold football?
Just me is one of my favorite guys.
You put a gold football by your favorites?
Yeah.
You are so adorable. You really are. Is that not adorable? CHGO Bears chatters.
Well, I'm limited to the emojis that are in the draft board.
Not many,
so it's not like what would you go with?
Maybe a check mark. You just go
check mark.
Gold football. That's amazing. Maybe
gold ball.
I put this.
I just think that's cute. Very, very cute. Should we go to number 5?
Someone needs to come up with a name for that thing.
Someone said like a bootlegged Pikachu. I couldn't get that out of my head.
Why can't we just call him? I don't know.
If that thing talked, it looked like something I'd want to squish.
You can call him Crammy.
Crammy?
Crammy. What's up, buddy? But it's Knicks now. I mean, I don't know.
Came out of your trunk.
We got to get it. Should we go to number 5? Team?
Let's do it.
Time's a waste in here. All right. This man is not a 1, not a 2, but a 3. You might not have seen him much unless you're Gary Ross and or watching and living in Utah and watching Pac-12 footballs. But, hey, this guy could be somebody that the Bears are interested in. Unanimous All-American, not consensus, Adam Hoge. The Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year, the son of Clark, the third Clark, started as a freshman, chiseled is what they say about this dude. Powerful, impactful. He's got the large lion tattoo, which could make him the king of the football cornerback jungle at some point down the line. When you think instincts, when you think twitch, and when you think closing speed, don't sleep on our guy out of Utah who said yes to the Buckeyes, but said, you know what, Ohio State, I don't want you. I'm leaving. I'm going back west where I came from. He's out of California. Clark Phillips III.
Yeah, I don't want to be clear here. He comes in at number 5 on our amongst corners, but we have a kind of a grouping of 4 guys right here that are all right together. So this is you pick your poison here with or as my guy Nate Tice likes to say, pick your flavor of ice cream, because they're all good.
Yeah.
We got a lot of good players here to pick from, and this is just the one that we ended up with at number 5 right now. But you can make a case for a lot of these guys. He's a little bit smaller and doesn't quite have the same length as what we were talking about with really all 4 of these guys that are ahead of him. But he still has the instincts, the twitchiness, the closing speed. Honestly, among some of these guys we've talked about, he might be one of the better fits in the Bears defense playing downhill. He's also a team captain. He's lauded for all the preparation. They puts in like film studying his opponents, which you don't always see at the college level. And then again, ball skills are there. 4 pick sixes for this guy. So it's not 6, but it's still 4. 4 is pretty damn good. And so for me, that's why I gave Phillips a bump over some of these other guys that we're going to mention here too.
He doesn't feel like a Bears fit. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but the 5'9" part, you've already got.
You said Bears fit in next year's perked up.
Well, that's true. But just another small corner to add with Kyler Gordon, I don't see it. But this guy, when you dive into him, he could be a very good player for someone.
Yeah, and this is the guy too. He did have a majority. Well, actually, so looking at 2022 here. He had 274 snaps out wide, but he also had 214 snaps in the slot. So that versatility of a guy that can play wherever on the defense, but also a guy that was physical. Like there were wide receivers. I was watching his game against Oregon in 2022 where they're trying to block him, and he's just kind of throwing guys off him, beating the wide receiver to the spot and making physical plays, had a clutch interception in the fourth quarter of that game. But the instincts really do pop when you watch him. The thing is, he does have one of the shortest arms at the position at 29 inches, but we were talking about his instincts, right? 1-5-1, 10-yard split. That translates to jumping routes, especially out routes, outbreaking routes. So it's a guy that, if you want to have some versatility, I think Clark Phillips III can provide that. Probably would, I think, transition to the slot in the NFL, but again, you have that versatility, and that's why he's number 5 on our board.
We've got some others, by the way, that we'll get to in a second here, who I don't have intros on, but just to let you know, if we, I know it's believe me, it's a bad job by me. I should have gone deeper, but I got so into it that I ran out of time. So I apologize. We'll do better tomorrow when we're talking about, what are we talking about tomorrow?
I think we have running backs and tight ends tomorrow.
That's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it. But Clark Phillips III, the chiseled man. If you wanted to get fitted out in the best sports gear around, he should call up Foco. He should get his hoodies, his shoes, his signs, his bobbleheads, and everything else in between from Foco. Spring baseball season. Clark might enjoy that too. Aloha shirts, straw hats, polos, bags, everything you need for a game. And, of course, Foco has donated some awesome pieces for our sets, so we really appreciate that from Foco. Check out foco.com, or click the link in the description below for all non-presale items. Use that promo code CHGO, for 10% off.
And one clarification, we are interior D-line tomorrow, tight end running backs Thursday.
Okay.
I'll be back for a Thursday show.
So
we're going to miss some interior D-line Nick breakdown here.
get your scouting hat on.
I'll put the notes in there for you.
Brags.
Put the notes in there.
Is he here tomorrow?
If you ain't here tomorrow, buddy, you might have to.
I might have to come in tomorrow. I'll be ready. I'll be ready.
We could be a extra day of the week. I'll talk to upper management about getting you a day off down the line, Nick. I got
Sounds
huge
good.
pull around
You
here.
can have a
Trust
day
me.
off after the draft.
Yeah.
Yeah, there
that's
we
true.
go. There we go.
That's
All right. Back to these other guys that were really close to the 5 spot. We're talking about Darius Rush,
yeah.
South Carolina.
Keely Ringo from Georgia, Deontay Banks from Maryland. Now, I've seen Banks' names come in the comments because there are definitely others, including Dan Brugler, that have him higher than we do. Again, these guys are all pretty close together in this grouping. But I know Darius Rush is a guy you like, Nick.
Yeah, that was a guy I got to see up close at the Senior Bowl. I think just for me, not knowing anything about him going in, he just kind of popped consistently in the Senior Bowl practices. What I have here is a guy who made a lot of plays, played tight coverage, showed good instincts, ability to break on passes, and got himself a few interceptions there. Ran a 4.39 at the NFL Scouting Combine. Wasn't penalized at all in 2-year career, and a former wide receiver, and you can tell how he attacks the football. Just some of my initial notes on Darius Rush, but yeah, he made a good impact on me at the Senior Bowl, and kind of watching some of his games. Like, that's a guy, like, if you look, ideally maybe the Bears don't take a corner at 9 with that first pick. Day 2, like, that would be a guy that I'd feel comfortable with the Bears taking. 6'1", 198 pounds, a guy that can make a lot of plays, and I think still has upside as a player.
Yeah, he might still be scratching the surface of what he can do. It was funny watching him at the Senior Bowl, watching him just the coverage. It's like he's like literally running these routes for these wide receivers. Like he's like, he looks like a wide receiver.
Yep.
And then you go in and you find out that's because he was a wide receiver until 2 years ago, and they moved him to corner, and now his career finally took off once he got moved to corner.
Right, he's got the ball skills that you would want to see. He's got speed. He's got competitiveness. I don't know how much you believe in the relative athletic score, Adam Hoge. This is a big category for you, but he was a 9.81 out of 10. Yep. That's 43 out of 2,212 quarterbacks from 1987 to 2023. That sounds pretty impressive to me, if you believe in that metric, which seems like a legit metric. So there you go. Something to like about Darius Rush.
I'm going to go ahead in here and add.
Ooh, we're doing an ad on the fly.
We're adding.
And he's for every once in a while with a player where he seems to check most boxes for the Bears. Because we're talking about a guy who has the relative athletic score. We know the Bears like that. He's got size and length, right? Great character.
He's met with the Bears multiple times.
Work ethic.
Production.
Was at the Senior Bowl. where the Bears had their
Multiple
coaches running around there. Maybe the only thing is he sort of looks more like a man corner than a zone guy, but to me, he's versatile. So
he says he can play man and zone. Of course, he says it, but he did say it.
But there's certain guys that's when they sort of hit all these boxes, I've been putting a Bears emoji next to them. Cute little bear.
I
They
love
don't
that
have an
too.
angry bear emoji. I wish they did.
Hey,
They just have the cute bear emoji.
Hey, that's all right.
great way to break down our draft board. We got the gold football for your golden standards, and then we got Bears for Bears.
Well, he's got the gold football too, so I think we should just lock this guy in as a Bears
Lock
pick.
it in. Lock it in.
Some people have him going as high as in the 40s, but maybe he comes down to good old 53. I don't know.
Be a possibility.
2 more guys we're going to talk about. Actually, we can just run through all these real quick. The whole damn board. No, just kidding. So Keely Ringo from Georgia, another guy who's got pretty good size. He's fast, good hands, ball production too. The questions on him are more about his instincts and awareness that, to me, are sometimes things you can't coach out of them. They're just sort of innate thing you either have. So that's the only reason why I dinged him a little bit. Let's talk about Deonte Banks, who also has outstanding size and athleticism. He put up a huge vertical. That vertical was 42 inches. Another guy who projects more is more of a man corner than zone. If you look at his tape against Ohio State, though, did a really good job against our future Bear, Marvin Harrison Jr.
Brags.
2 things, though, that really, for me, this is just personally, like my own taste.
Okay.
When you have a lot of penalties and you don't have a lot of production, that's hard for me to get over when it's both of them. Sort of like with wide receivers, we talk about somebody who has more drops than touchdowns. That's hard for me to get past. And so that's sort of my issue personally, just with Deonte Banks, why I didn't put him higher. Because the size and athleticism, certainly there, no question about it. But so many of these guys we've talked about as we've been breaking down these cornerbacks have a ton of production, ton of pick sixes. They run the routes for these guys. They're constantly getting their hands on the ball. And my one thing with Banks is there's just too many penalties and not enough ball production for as athletic as he appears to be.
Yeah, and I like Deonte Banks, too. Ran a 4.35 42, so he has a speed to also hold up in the NFL. The other thing, too, if you're thinking about if you want this guy to be a long-term guy, he's 2 years removed from a season-ending shoulder injury, so factor into that with not the production that you might want to see. So there's some things there, but athletically, like, that guy is, arguably one of the most athletic corners in this draft class, and
Kuiper's got a first-round grade on him, by the way.
A lot of these guys are more man corners, and I think, I don't know for you, Adam, if you agree with this, but, like, I'd rather almost them be man corners that can learn zone defenses rather than them never having played man at all, because they have those techniques, those abilities, in that you can learn zone defense. It's just going to take some time. I don't know. That's just for me how I kind of looked at these guys.
But that's why. But to me, it'd be a downhill zone cornerback who's reading the backfield, and to me, that's where the instincts really have to be there. And so that's why was it Ringo right before, where that's a question mark.
Yeah,
like
Ringo.
that's hard for me to get over. Banks maybe not so much, but just where's that ball production?
Brugler puts him 4th ahead of Emanuel Forbes, says Banks needs to add more discipline to what you're talking about to his play style, but when he trusts his technique, he has the size, athleticism, and physicality of an NFL starter. He projects best as an outside press man cornerback with upside in zone looks. That's how he surmises. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And by the way, I mean, we are talking, I think I said this off the top, 14 corners right now in our top 81, at least as it stands today. So we could keep going with this. DJ Turner from Michigan would have been
Another good
next.
guy.
Actually, I had somebody text me this morning saying he's a solid all-around player, physically, athletically, and under the hood, like in terms of smarts and awareness and work ethic and things like that.
I spent more time on DJ Turner. It was impressive going through his stuff.
Yeah, he said likely under many radars, but he's definitely a little bit more undersized, and just worry about how he holds up against.
He came on late, didn't get on the field early at Michigan.
Yeah. And then, okay, quickly we'll talk about Cam Mitchell, since I think we all know him from the Big Ten and certainly our connections to Northwestern. For a while, I thought I was crazy on this guy. Like,
Cam Mitchell was a stud.
Yes.
At Northwestern.
And like, even at his pro day, it was like an afterthought that he was even there, it seemed like. And I'm like, what's going on here? Because I like Cam Mitchell a lot. And then finally our guy Dane Brugler comes in. Dane Brugler's like, love the guy. Like, he can go in the second round. I think he has a third-round grade on him. But, I mean, one of the things about Cam Mitchell was Greg Newsome, who, of course, was a first-round pick, got hurt. He was dealing with like a nagging, I want to say it was a hamstring, some type of leg thing. And pops up again in the Big Ten championship game. Cam Mitchell goes in. Not only does he fill in just fine, he picks off Justin Fields in the game. Now, he only has 2 interceptions in college. One of them came against Fields, though. And but he got his hands on the ball a ton.
All the time.
All the time.
All the time.
So you'd like to see him turn more of those interceptions. Certainly it is a negative. Like, hey, you dropped some interceptions. There were opportunities for more, but he's getting his hands on the ball, getting those PBUs. He seems to me, again, like a fit for the Bears. He reads and reacts really well and sort of has those instincts to make plays on the football.
I've watched a lot of Cam Mitchell. He's got a swagger to his game, too. He was not playing in ideal circumstances at all. I love Cam Mitchell as a late-round pick. You get Cam Mitchell if he's dropping in the 5th, something like that.
I don't think that's happening. I think if you want to get him, you got to grab him at the latest at 64.
Really?
Yeah.
On the athletic big board,
good
he's
for
number
him.
85 in the top 100 there. So
yeah, I think he's somebody that's going higher than most of these, let's put it, media.
I mean,
not in any negative way, but there's definitely guys that are higher in NFL circles than they are, in the people that cover the draft like we do. But I love him.
You could definitely make an argument that he was the best player on the football team, and that includes Adebare. That dude can play.
Wow.
I was like, you're next level dude. He was also just a part of that secondary that the Northwestern's been churning out for a while here, guys, getting picked in the first round. I like him a lot. I'm a big Cam Mitchell guy.
All right, so there's 10 corners for you. There's even more to go through if you are a diehard and have access to our draft board as we put together our consensus CHGO Bears 100. Good stuff. Now, Carm would like to ruin the show with some Domantas Sabonis talk, I believe.
No, we got a couple super chats first.
Okay, good.
Well,
No. I don't really care about Domantas Sabonis. Here's Monsi.
he's just settle down, everybody.
Well,
I got amazing stuff to wrap up the show here.
yeah.
I can't wait.
This is $4.99 from Monty. He says, is there any notable edge guys still out there that they can sign? Also, I did my own mock and got 19 first-round picks for 2024. Polls should take notes.
Good job, Monty.
that's funny.
I mean, I forget who's left, to be honest, Monty.
Does Jadeveon Clowney do anything for anybody?
I can give you one under-the-radar name.
There was one guy that has been sitting there that I wanted him to sign.
Is it Ifeadi Odenigbo?
I like that name, too.
So, look, if you're under-the-radar guys, that would be one. I mean, we're talking about a depth piece there if it's Ifeadi. But I believe he was in Indy at the same time as Falus, because he was definitely in Indy for a little bit. So, but, I mean, that's kind of a journeyman who's made impacts. Probably had his best season with the Vikings a few years ago.
Is Ngakoue still out there?
Yeah, Yannick Ngakoue is still available. Yeah. And, the guy who's been in a lot of places, but he got to the quarterback.
It seems like Monty, to your question, though, it seems like the Bears, if they were going to do that, would have done it already. But you never know, I guess,
Not
after the draft.
You got to understand, right now, things get put on hold until the draft.
Well, free agents are like, wait, what team is going to draft, a young player?
Free agents want to wait, too.
Yeah.
At this point. They want to see, okay, which teams didn't fill this hole? This is where I should go. They don't want to sign with a team on April 18th and then
go draft a starter in the draft.
They use a first-round pick on the same position 10 days later.
wait it
So
out.
it's a little bit of a holding pattern right now. And there's going to be guys that could get cut after the draft, as I keep talking about. So that's something to keep in mind.
All right, and then he sent another, Monty sent another $5 super chat. He says, also, who do you guys think C.J. Gardner-Johnson is going to get throwing punches next year? My money is on Claypool.
Yeah.
That's
That tracks.
Claypool would be the guy.
And out of all the Bears wide receivers who are
I don't
pretty
think that's fair. How do we?
well tempered, I don't know.
How do we? He walked off the sidelines and Fields had to calm him down.
Yeah,
he's
that did
he's.
happen.
I think he's the.
That was in Detroit too,
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking about,
wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the
it ain't gonna be
Hurricanes.
DJ Moore. It ain't gonna be.
Darnell Mooney.
It's not Darnell Mooney.
Dante. Nope.
It's not Dante.
How about this? How about he doesn't get under anyone's skin because the team's more disciplined, and regardless, don't punch helmets. It's so stupid.
That'd be
All
such a loaf in Eberflus's book.
I'll let you read this one since you're in a brick-by-brick shirt.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this, to be honest with you. It's a great sweatshirt. Encourage everybody to go out and get it. But just me personally wearing a sweatshirt that has Braggs' autograph on it,
It's a weird feeling.
it's a weird feeling.
I mean, when I got that thing in the mail yesterday, we opened it up on After Dark. I was like, it's so great to support our teammate, and also, I'm feeling a little bit weird about having Braggs lead me to victory every day. Like, just you wake up and you throw on Braggs. But actually, you know what? When I went to bed last night and I was wearing it, it made me. I felt so comfortable just thinking that Gregory was right
Like
there with
snuggling
me.
you?
Yep, he's right there with me.
Yeah.
I'll get it for
Gives good hugs.
shirt.
$2 super chat from Braggs in the stands. What does Cram thing
I don't appreciate that mockery
of Bijan Robinson?
Not
What does
addressing-
Cram thing?
I'm not addressing that chat. He knows what I think, and I don't like the cramp thing or the crampa or the fact that I got this email today, which I credit to Greg Braggs from Maureen Mooney. I don't know if she wants me to say her name, but that's fine.
You just did.
Hi, Mark. I saw you cover sports and thought you might have interest in this story. Like father, like son, like granddaughter, for the first time in the National Senior Games history, 3 generations of the same family will be competing in the 2023 games in Pittsburgh. And then he proceeds to talk about 94-year-old athlete Dwight Smith, who decided to use sports to grow closer to his son Terry, 69. And then now we're bringing in the 50-year-old Terry's daughter, Christy, the National Senior Games. Let me know if you're interested in interviewing this family of National Senior Games competitors or would like to learn about any other athletes competing this year. And I think that this Crampa thing has somehow made it to now I'm getting National Senior Games emails. And I would like to personally
thing's harder
blame
than
Greg
I thought.
Braggs for this happening. No, I would not like to cover the Senior Games.
Wait, is this Dwight Smith, the former Cub?
No,
I didn't
he
listen to
passed-
any of
R.I.P.
that,
Dwight
but-
Smith. He just recently passed away.
Shit,
Yeah.
he was my guy. I
Yeah,
liked
I
him
loved
more
him.
than
No.
Jerome Walton.
Yeah, he recently passed away. It's not. Unfortunately, it's not. But thank you, Maureen, for the email. And yeah,
I didn't listen to any of that, but I would like to say that Crammy is
Krammy's harder
it's a
than
fun
I
one.
thought.
harder than I thought.
He's a
Yeah.
throwable object.
Throwable object, this Crammy.
Couple of NFL notes before we get out of here. The Bills general manager, Brandon Beane, told reporters today that after meeting with medical specialists, DeMar Hamlin has now been cleared to resume full activity, which is amazing
That's
news.
awesome, yeah.
So, wow. Congrats, obviously, to DeMar, his family, the Bills, and NFL football fans everywhere who took extreme interest in that story. Jalen Carter's with the Falcons today. So, Seahawks, Lions, Raiders, Falcons, Bears, Eagles. He's met with all of them, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And I thought this was interesting from the betting markets, DraftKings. Thank you very much. Will Anderson, favorite now to go at number 2, plus 190, followed by Will Levis,
Yeah, that's interesting.
Good luck.
plus 270
to the Texans?
to go to. Well, or
These-
That's
somebody's
Arizona.
drafting. They're assuming that
Yeah.
someone's going to trade up with to get the pick and pick Will Levis.
Oh my!
And Stroud is dropped back to plus 340 along with Texas Tech's pass rusher Tyree Wilson. I thought all that was interesting.
Interesting.
Will Levis.
I mean, well,
That'd be nuts.
We there does seem to be some incredible movement right now towards Bryce Young is going to go number 1 to the Panthers. The Texans, which I've sort of suspected all along for some reason, although I've also suspected it being smoke from other teams trying to throw throw people off the scent, but I just wasn't convinced always that they're taking a quarterback at 2. Because they have that 12th pick, too.
It's very interesting that
personally, I wouldn't take any quarterback besides Bryce Young in the top 2 at this point. That's where I'm at. And I don't think I'd take Bryce Young in the top 2. Okay.
Hi.
What's happening? Is there anything that I need to know? You all right? Everything under control?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Kevin Kaduk, head of content.
Can you hand that to me, actually, Kevin? Because I only read like the first half of it. But
hey, Rob.
It's not important. Keep going with your.
Okay. Well, I just think it's the biggest draft story to me between now and next Thursday is who's going to trade up to 2, who's going to trade up to 3, or if they're not going to make a deal. Because I fully anticipate that Arizona is going to trade that pick and someone's coming up to get a quarterback, despite the noise that came out yesterday that the top 3 picks are not going to be quarterbacks. I still would bet that it will go that way.
Yeah.
That people are going to trade up and get their quarterback versus waiting for it.
I like that we don't know. It's more fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's more fun when it's like we're going to be sitting there on draft night being like, whoa, I don't know what's going to happen.
That just happened.
And
oh, my God, the Panthers just traded the
I
first overall pick for Mitch Trubisky.
Stuffed it over there.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, well, that's the beauty of the draft.
Yeah.
Lastly, yes, I was watching NBA buckets last night, which kept me up until the end of the game. Sacramento and Golden State. Domantas Sabonis.
Here we go.
Hey, Adam Silver. It's at the Carm here at CHGO. I do a Bears podcast, but just giving you my basketball thoughts. That dude should be suspended for Game 3. He grabbed the leg of Draymond Green. He then proceeded to hold on, and then Green.
Why is that a suspendable action, though?
I'm not quite there yet. It's not yet suspendable until my Carm integrity comes into it. And then Green, trying to get his leg free, he ends up stomping on the dude. Not super hard. I'd say a 5 out of 10. But a stomp because he's holding on. And then Sabonis acts like he's literally dead and can't move and lays on the ground for an hour. The trainer's leaning over him. And then 5 seconds later, he stands up and he's completely fine. So he
was down for an hour, and then 5 seconds later, he was up? Because that
yes.
actually makes
Incredible
sense.
recovery.
Sounds
ability.
like
It was
LeBron James.
It was the greatest recovery in athletic history.
Didn't he have X-rays though after the game?
Fake X-rays.
Fake X-rays.
Fake X-rays. That's what I'm going with.
Fake.
What did the X-rays reveal? I'm gonna guess nothing. Slight bruising.
He's got that dog in him.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
the X-rays
Like
he's going to say.
Hey, Domantas, you're better than that. Hashtag Cappy.
All right.
Like
Here I'm at with you. I'm about 20% with you. Okay, the first thing when I saw this, I was like, okay, Sabonis definitely kind of grabbed his leg, and
he grabbed his leg.
Which okay, then call a foul.
Yeah,
it's not
they
suspendable.
It isn't. It isn't.
It's a foul.
But they should. But
also, you don't need to stomp on the dude.
Okay, Draymond shouldn't have stomped on him. I agree. I wouldn't have kicked Draymond out though. I wouldn't have, even though I knew he was. I think we all knew that he was about to get booted, and then Draymond's crazy.
Yeah, he needs to settle down.
I mean, just screaming at the fans. He is.
Carm, your new fave, Vanilla Chill.
What's up, Vanilla? Stomp and then pushing his foot in his chest and jumping off of him from his foot is way more egregious.
It just is.
Yeah, there you go.
Right, but I'm not defending Draymond. He should not have stomped on him, but Sabonis instigated the whole incident, and then he proceeded to try and act like his career was over, and it was just the whole thing was nauseating. You're a 6'9", 6'10" incredibly tough Domantas Sabonis, and you're acting like you're me out there. Come on, man.
Good comment here from Doug Van Dorn. It becomes suspendable when a guy crosses the Sioux line and tries to break the guy's ankle while holding his leg. I totally agree. If he had tried to twist Draymond's ankle, I might even defend the stomping at that point.
Yeah.
Because that would have been ridiculous. He didn't do that. He's just sort of hugging his leg. Don't get away from me.
I just didn't like it. I hate the flopping. I despise it. And RM, you back that off. The NBA is phenomenal. That was great. There's some great playoffs going on right now.
Did we just get some NFL news or something happen?
Apparently, according to Gary Ross, Blaine Gabbert to the Chiefs, and I don't think that Gary's ever been wrong about anything with breaking news. Unlike brick by brick, rise and shine. Where the hell's David Montgomery?
New backup in Blaine Gabbert is signing with the Kansas City Chiefs, according to Pat McAfee.
What a
That's
source.
annoying. But congratulations to Pat McAfee.
What a way to end the show. Hey, let's end it this way. Don't forget about our draft day live shows coming next week.
Tickets available.
Tickets are starting at $60, okay? And they include the T-shirt you see on your screen, too.
Beautiful Midway shirt, yeah.
All you can drink, free tea, hang out with Hoge. Carm will be there, too. It's an incredible opportunity.
Yeah, so, I mean, you're getting 2 nights of a draft party.
Woot.
2 shows.
Brags.
Well, let me clarify. You're not getting 2 nights for that price. Each night is its own price. I shouldn't have phrased it that way. But even if you come out one night, it's a great deal. You get the shirt, get to hang out with us, got the premium drink package. There's no better draft party to be at. So please go to allcshow.com. Join us next week. Can't wait to do it. We got to go get in our draft room right now. Finalize this top 100. It probably won't even be finalized, but
we'll get there.
It's going to be fun.
I'm exhausted.
See ya, Crammy.
Good night, everybody.
We'll talk to you
Crammy
now.
Died.